Whenever I looked up from my writing, I saw M. Hamel sitting motionless in his chair and gazing first at one thing, then at another, as if he wanted to fix in his mind just how everything looked in that schoolroom. Gazing means looking very intently, and fix in his mind means store or keep the memories forever. So, Mr. M. Hamel, who had to leave that village after giving 40 years of faithful service, was simply looking at each and every item of that classroom just to treasure the memories for the rest of his life. He was very attached to his class. It was not only an emotional moment for M. Hamel or for the students, but for the elderly people of village also. It has been mentioned later on that Hauser, the old Hauser, he had also kept his spectacles on the table and there were tears in his eyes. Down there at the back of the room, old Hauser had put on his spectacles he had put on his spectacles and holding his primer in both hand. Primer is an elementary book. Both hand spelled the letters with them. You could see that he too was crying, his voice trembled with emotion, and it was so funny to hear him that we all wanted to laugh and cry. Ah, how well I remember it, that last lesson. So it was the last lesson which was the most memorable lesson of his life. And then, all at once, the church clock struck 12, then Angelus. Angelus means prayer is sung in the church. The start is marked by ringing of the bell. Just then the clock at the church struck 12 and prayer song began. And that was the time when officially the charge was handed over to Prussian forces. And that was the time to bid farewell to all the parents or the children of his class. So at the same moment, the trumpet of Prussian returning from drill sounded under our windows. M. Hamel stood up very pale in his chair. I never saw him look so tall. Trumpet is a musical instrument, and at the same moment, he said, who M. Hamel, my friends, said he. He stands for M. Hamel. But something choked him. He could not go on. Then he turned to the blackboard, took a piece of chalk, and bearing on with all his might, he wrote as large as he could, Viva la France, long live France. M. Hamel, then he stopped and leaned his head against the wall, and without a word, he made a gesture to us with his hand. School is dismissed. You may go. Choke stands for that become unable to speak due to strong emotions, when you are unable to speak because of emotions. So gesture is a signal, and then he stopped writing and dismissed the class with a heavy heart. So this is how the last lesson came to an end. I hope that you all will give a thorough reading to the lesson once again and complete all the question answers. The lengthy questions which were given you yesterday, they will also be completed by you. And after this, be ready for the next video based on the lost spring. Thank you.